Welcome, everybody, to the show. No, it used the wrong thing. We're going to have to fix that. There we go. I test, and I test, and I test, and it still breaks, Mitch. Every time. I don't understand. I hit the button that says, do the thing,
Boo.
and it breaks. Yeah. Pro producer. Yeah, what can I do? Whoops. Yeah, Mitch, you were off frame for like 2 seconds. It was like all cropped weird. I don't even know why. I got to delete that scene just to make sure that that doesn't happen. Yeah, and welcome to the show, guys. Let's get past it.
We're
Let's
live.
just pretend it didn't happen. Yeah, we are live. We are
I
good.
thought you stopped the stream. So
No,
we could restart.
no, we are live, dude. Come on now. I wouldn't
All
do
right, because
that.
I was making a signal as if I was booing you, but I didn't actually make the booing sound.
No, you did. I heard a boo.
Oh, did you? Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So Mitch thought we weren't live. I screwed up the intro. I guess that's just the way the show is going to go today.
Man, rough start.
Rough start. Let's just rewind. Hold on. We're just going to go. You ready? We're going to go. All right, we're back to the music. Hold on. Music. All right, shh, don't make any noise. And coming to us in 3, 2, 1. Flawless intro. Welcome to the show. My name is Mark Bach Wilson. I've got MagicHelmet on the show. You saw nothing. We are just about ready to jump into this week's action in the CSGO world, but before I do, Pigmers wants to tell you to get a haircut. I am inclined to agree.
He knows I'm a moderator in this, right?
You have this like samurai look going.
I think it's a fantastic look, personally.
I think you should grow out the sides though too, and then put them in their own bun. So you have 3 buns, one for each side and one for the top. Maybe eventually
like
one in the back.
Man, I gotta be honest. I like it when it's short on the sides. I can't do long on the sides.
Get a bun back here and one on top, and then one on each side.
You know, I'm gonna do it.
You'd look like
I'm gonna do it just for you, Mark.
The Bop It 3D. Do you remember that thing? It was like the ball with the little. It was
Bop It.
It was like a Bop It sphere
Slap
or something. Yeah, but it was
Kick
like
it or whatever it was.
You would like twist it
yeah.
and like turn it and. Because it had numbers, so it was like 2, and you would have to put the 2 on top, and 3, 4, and you had to go. Oh yeah, it's fun.
Bop It's a classic. Yeah.
Well, this week we didn't really have too much action happen as far as news. We were hopeful that the ESIC, also known as the Esports Integrity Coalition, would actually release information regarding the MDL match fixing scandal. That was supposed to conclude last Thursday. Still nothing. Crickets coming from ESIC currently while we wait to figure out what it is that they are doing in regards to that scandal. But we did get 2 nuggets in the last couple of days, and part of that is related to potential return to LAN, as the CSSPA has been in conversations with tournament organizers to discuss LAN safety protocols. Hallelujah.
We're getting back. And it's good that the Players Association is involved with this. I think it's key because, you know, it might be a situation where these tournament organizers are going to try and force LANs on these players. And, you know, they need to have representation to say, hey, these are the guidelines that we're willing to work with and, you know, kind of set boundaries with these organizations. So I'm glad that they're involved. And I'm glad LANs are coming back eventually. For some reason, I thought ESL New York was going to be a LAN, and I thought people weren't making a big enough deal about it, but apparently it wasn't a LAN. So
originally it was supposed to be. I mean, it was supposed to be, but I mean, the tough thing is the last time I went to LAN was Dreamhack Anaheim. That was back in February. Unfortunately, Pigmers was also there. So
yeah, who let him in?
Yeah, he's probably the reason they canceled all these LANs. But if we look down, you know, they have legitimate plans to really return to LAN. You know, talking about the interaction between staff, media, and fans. That's a big thing that is not mentioned, you know, really much. It's literally just a kind of a little subnote here. Travel, testing policies, interaction with staff, media, and fans. That's huge. That's the biggest part of the LAN play. Like, everyone's like, oh, yeah, you know, it'd be great to get back on LAN, you know, working in a studio at least, but they're not talking about studio. They're talking about potentially live events.
Yep.
That's massive.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. And, you know, you certainly have to be careful with the fan interaction just because there's so many people that go to these specific events like ESL New York. I mean, it's going to be packed with, you know, 15,000 people. And, you know, I know you've been to these type of events before, and I have as well. There's lines from end to end for people trying to get autographs from these players. I mean, there's certainly going to be a way that you can kind of socially distance, but are they going to have to cut back on that type of activation where you can't get an autograph? And there certainly needs to be some sort of restrictions, but it'll be interesting to see what the CSPPA comes up with. To kind of, number one, protect the players because that's their purpose, but also, what are these tournament organizers going to put into place to ensure everybody's safety, and that includes the fans as well.
I mean, the other side of this too is geographical limitations. It's already bad enough trying to plan international events when it comes to visas and travel. We've already had multiple events where teams have had to bail because they couldn't get their visas or their paperwork in time. That's never really been an issue for the North American teams leaving the United States. It's always been the other way around. It's been for teams trying to get into the U.S., whether it was from South America or it was from Eastern Europe. We might have a legitimate issue where North American teams have a hard time getting out of the United States. Now, it does say there's a recent report where it links North American-based teams with a trip to Europe. I've heard similar rumors. Some things have been just landing in my lap that may confirm or deny those rumors. I don't want to share too much as it was shared confidentially, but I really wonder how many of these teams are actually going to be able to get all their players out of the U.S. if that's the case. Like if they decide to send these teams to Europe, are they going to even be allowed to get into those countries when they get there?
Yeah, I don't know. I know the European area has been trying to limit the amount of Americans coming over there, and as you mentioned, it's typically the other way around. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. It might be a situation where a North American team commits to go to a LAN in Europe, but maybe one of the players aren't able to go for whatever reason. Maybe they're in one of the COVID hotspots. And either they're gonna have to get somebody to fill in for them, or they're just gonna have to back out last minute. What I think the best way to do it is to start with LANs region based, so NA based, and then EU based, and then once you're able to come up with the right guidelines, figure out what's going to be successful, and keep everybody safe. Then you can start to build out LANs for both EU and NA together. But there's got to be a way where you avoid any last minute teams backing out in the last minute, something that might be out of their control. But I think that's probably the best approach, but we'll see what they come up with.
Now, that was just part of what CSPPA had dropped on us. The other part of this was their agreement to change tournament schedules. A lot of this came about because of the complaints that went public when, I think it was Stewie, who is the one that most notably said it, complained that 10 a.m. start times for matches was too early compared to what they're used to, and how sometimes they're forced to stay up late, sometimes they have to wake up early. And I get the annoyance, the fact that the schedule is constantly changing. So that's kind of what they're taking care of here. If you actually look through the proposed changes that were agreed upon between ESL Dreamhack and the CSPPA, it's adjusting the starting times of matches to make sure that no matches end after midnight. Which time zone they mean, big question mark, because they could mean in Hawaii time. Who knows what they're actually referring to? But I would assume they'd pick a region or a time zone for each region. Based on the population density, I would assume that PST will be the time used for the US, and then CEST will be the time used for Europe. And then teams competing in semifinals and finals are given a minimum of 3 days rest before playing their first match in the next tournament. So if you play in a semifinal and you get eliminated the day before a final, you still get 3 days, and the team that's playing in the final gets 3 days before they have to play in their first match of the next event. That's actually really important. I think that's huge.
Yeah, we've seen examples where there's a team that, goes deep into a final, plays late into the night, and then they have to turn around, number one, fly to another location, and then they're expected to immediately play in whatever tournament that they're going to be playing in next. And, that can really, really kind of burn people out. So it's good that they're taking notice of that. I was surprised that having matches after 12 o'clock wasn't already a rule, but obviously CSPPA is kind of a new organization. So ensuring that they're putting these guidelines in to really help out their players, I think is great. And great job. Got nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, they're also changing formats. So they've basically said we don't want to play round robin. ever. Which, if you look at it, they even mentioned it in the article on HLTV. That doesn't really affect too many people. Not many tournament organizers run round robin. The only one that really does is ESL Pro League. And one of the things they actually impose as a change is to reduce the group size from 8 to 6, so it lowers the number of matches required for each group to complete the round robin stage. Round robin hasn't really been used actively for a long time.
Yep.
I mean, I remember one of the few tournament organizers that really actively used round robin was ESWC going back a couple of years ago, and it resulted in some annoying ties. I remember most infamously, I think it was 2014, maybe it was 2015 at ESWC. Cloud9 was eliminated despite having the same record as the teams who made it through because of a round differential and a match that didn't matter. Because the way that round robin works is you do head-to-head, but a lot of times when you have a tie in a round robin, each team beat each other because the groups aren't big enough to really have a tie without something like that happening. So then you go round differential. But what happened is the team that was eliminated in their final match didn't care because the game was the thing was basically over. They couldn't make it. So the round differential was like 16-1 in that final match, and it threw the results because they shouldn't factor in those results. They should have only factored in the round differential against the teams in the tiebreaker. Been through this mess before. It sucks. It's not fun. That's why round robin is terrible when it comes to Counter-Strike.
And that takes away the integrity of the tournament when there's a team that knows they don't have anything invested into it anymore. They know, they're done in the tournament and they're not going to play. So, or, at least, put in the effort that they normally would otherwise. And ties are dumb. Ties should not ever be a thing. I am not a fan of that. So please take those away. I like the change that they made here.
Well, in round robin too, you have a real tie because in a round robin stage, you're not supposed to play overtime. If you tie 15-15, that's it. You actually have wins, losses, and ties in round robin. So
those need to go.
That's dumb, and no one wants to see that be a part of the gameplay. So they basically kind of made it impossible for round robin to exist, which is nice. We'll see if other tournament organizers are going to continue their conversations with the CSPPA. Obviously, we still have a tournament organizer like Blast, who is a big player, and they're going to have to get on board with this, as is Flashpoint, but at least it's a step in the right direction. I mean, ESL and Dreamhack right now are one of the biggest tournament organizers, and I say one of because that was another piece of the news. ESL and Dreamhack have officially merged. It's no longer ESL and Dreamhack, it's ESLimac. I don't know what they're going to call it. Dreamhassel. We'll figure out the acronym or the name that's going to appropriately apply. I think they're just going to call it ESL. I think they're losing the Dreamhack brand, and it's all going to kind of house under ESL, which is kind of sad. As someone who's worked 10, I think, Dreamhack Open events, that's a bummer to see that brand kind of just disappear into the background. I understand that ESL has tremendous brand power and a lot of respect in the community, but I'll miss the bright orange mixed with the gray. One of my favorite hoodies that I still wear all the time is actually my Dreamhack hoodie. I say that as I'm wearing an ESL one, but it's a Dreamhack hoodie that I got at Dreamhack Open Austin. It was the first Dreamhack I ever worked, and now it's becoming like a collector's item. Yeah, maybe I can resell it someday and
put it on
buy
eBay.
a house.
I got you.
In like 50 years, I'll sell it and I'll make, I'll buy a spaceship or something.
Yeah, put it in like a hermetically sealed package, throw it in the back of your closet. In 50 years, you can sell it for $1 million.
But all of this is really cool. I mean, I like that the CSPPA is finally stepping it up. To be perfectly honest, I felt like the CSPPA for a long time was kind of a joke. I don't want to say they were useless, but it didn't feel like they were really taking a stand for player rights. It felt like they did at first, and then it went just kind of quiet. Like they were there, but it didn't seem like they were doing much. And that's just possibly due to my own ignorance. We don't see what's happening in the background all the time. So we don't know what kind of conversations are taking place behind closed doors, what isn't being publicly announced. But it's nice to see them finally making headway with tournament organizers to make a change for the better.
Yeah, it did seem like they were living up to what their function was supposed to be for a while. I'm in total agreement with that. And it seems like they've turned a corner here and really engaging in good faith with these tournament organizers, which is fantastic to see. And I hope they continue to do so and just really improve, the environment for all of these players when they go to these tournaments, because it's necessary. We've seen, we talked in the past on our talk show before, the burnout can be pretty bad, and just changing and making small changes here and there to quickly or to eventually make changes for the better for these players, I think will benefit everybody especially in the gameplay as well. If there's players that are burnt out, they're not going to be playing at the best level, and
Yeah.
the better they play, the better the tournaments are going to be. It's going to be better for the viewers.
Mhm.
So all around, any more involvement for the CSPPA and improving the lives of the players is great.
Well, that just about wraps things up for us today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. If you like what you watch, we are live every Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. You can also follow the show on YouTube and Facebook. If you prefer those platforms, we're live in all three places simultaneously. That's the magic of the internet. Pow. We can make it happen.
Oh, yeah.
But if you like what we do over at Nerd Street, make sure you follow us on social media. NERDST Gamers on all appropriate social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can also find us on YouTube at Nerd Street Gamers as well, NERDST Gamers. Like, follow, subscribe, whatever is appropriate. Please make sure you hit that button. If you like me and Mitch, which you probably don't because we kind of suck, but it's cool if you do.
Big time.
You can find Mitch at MagicHelmet TV, and you can find me at my newly minted social media name, Bokcasts, BOQCASTS, as the TV is Nomos. Thank you guys for watching. We hope to see you next time.